gentlemen. Sorry for the delay of all this. I'm just dealing with this nasty cold or sinus infection or something. So I am recording this Thursday afternoon, which means I will not be able to enjoy this drink. Just make it for you all and then dump it down the drain. It will be sad, but these are the sacrifices I make for this league and for you gentlemen out there who need some cocktails. So try not to dwell too long on that sad thought. So this week, my matchup against Nick, I'm going with a very fun, titled, and very delicious drink, the Cock and Bull Special. This is an interesting kind of cocktail. It's kind of one where you look at it, it says it on the instructions there, but you kind of look at all the ingredients like, what? You're not quite sure what's going to come out of that, but it's very good. So we'll get started with that. The instructions will be where they always are, briefly, and then you can just listen to what I do and follow my instructions or whatever. I do have a lot of questions to get to. So I'll answer some of those while I'm making this cocktail. Or maybe when I'm finished, and then I'll sit here and look at it and answer the questions and do what I do. All right. So the first thing I'm going to add is the bitters, Angostura bitters. A couple dashes. This is one dash. I do a couple with my homemade just because I like it a lot, but if you have store-bought, maybe one dash is enough. I don't know. It's all is to taste, Let's see, a 1/4 ounce of orange liqueur. You may have noticed through a few of these weeks using things like orange liqueur is it's not an ingredient that you're going to have large quantities of in every cocktail. It's not really meant to be a bulk ingredient. It's supposed to just kind of sway the flavor a little bit to kind of allow you to kind of mix and match other liquors and things, So anyway, 1/2 ounce of cognac or Armagnac, or any brandy really. This is just what I use. The rest of these, the cognac, Benedictine bourbon, they're all from last year's liquor bottle list. So it's not like I'm throwing brand new stuff at everyone. I hope people remember that. 3/4 ounce of the Benedictine. And 3/4 ounce of bourbon. Sweet, sweet bourbon. One of my favorites. Indeed. One of the best out there, bourbon. Okay. And talking about brands, I like that Bulleit bourbon a lot. Brian asked me earlier, he asked me last week, I didn't get to it, but I said I would answer it this week, what I thought about celebrity alcohol. Jim Gaffigan has his own like bourbon or whiskey or something. The guys from Breaking Bad have a tequila or a mezcal. And they're far from the first. George Clooney has his stuff, it's just a really easy way to make money. Like, if you can slap your name on a product that, I think there's a pretty big profit margin when it comes to bottles of alcohol in this day and age, especially, it depends. Bourbon and that kind of stuff, I feel like that could be a little bit trickier. Mezcal, because there's just a lot of rules. Even in America, like bourbon has to really, in order to be bourbon, there's like boxes that have to be ticked. Like the government will say, yep, that is bourbon, or nope. It's kind of weird, but I think it's just an easy way to make money. It's not like the celebrities have to do any work other than like, sure, here's my name. All right, thanks. Give me my check. Bye. So, and it's not seen as like sad as like if you slap your name on, I don't know, a cheesier product, like what's that guy's name? George Foreman, Foreman Grill or whatever. Like, a bottle of mezcal or bourbon's cooler than that. So that's how I feel about that one. All right, I'm gonna go get this filled with ice and stir it up. I'll be right back. And I'm back. I got the ice in, ice on my cup, so I'm ready to stir this up. And while I'm stirring, I can look at some other. Oh yeah, Nick wanted me to. I made a joke about this, but Nick wanted me to power rank the cocktails, including so far this season. So I have 5 of them, including the new one, and including the lead cocktail. But I did go through the process, and I just want to emphasize that by no means is this a indication of like, oh, I don't like the number 5 cocktail. I like every cocktail I've put on any of these videos. I am a fan of. I wouldn't put a cocktail. I wouldn't introduce a cocktail to you gentlemen that I didn't myself personally really enjoy. This one included. Sure wish I could have some of that, but I do not want to weaken my immune system currently as I'm hopefully getting over this stupid sinus thing, this cold thing. So you can just kind of look at it. It's pretty. I don't have an orange peel. It's supposed to be garnished with an orange peel or a lemon peel. Some people prefer that. So if you got that, please garnish away. I don't have one right now, and I'm sorry. It still looks good. Very appetizing. So I can show my inner strength. Anyway, so the power rankings of these cocktails. We'll go start at the bottom, number 5. I put the fancy cocktail. Now I know I made that our league cocktail, and you could argue that like the cocktail of the season for the league should be the best one maybe or something, but part of the reason I made that one the cocktail for the league is because it's basically an old-fashioned with just a tiny little twist. I thought it was an appropriate thematic drink for the season since the new bottles for this season are kind of, a lot of them like the orange liqueur and stuff. It's just the add-on kind of twist of the staple of bottles that I hopefully people got last season. So number 4, I put the dry orange martini, which I love. It's a great cocktail, but it's a very specific kind of cocktail. It is what it is. It's a martini. I mean, it is, in the end of the day, it's a martini, and I love martinis, but they're kind of, you have to be like, I want martinis. It's not something that really, you're desperate for on a regular basis. Number 3, One Chance Fancy. I like that one a lot. Tequila is always fun. Really, the only reason it's number 3 or not 2 or 1 is because the number 2 and number 1 are just so amazing. Number 2 is the Cock and Bull special. It's one of my favorite cocktails that I really hadn't heard of or knew about or anything until I got one of my cocktail books that I like to flip through and introduced me to a lot of these like kind of spirits and things that maybe you don't hear a lot about, like the Benedictine and stuff. So it's kind of a unique cocktail, and I just like it a lot. It's you'll see when you guys make one and enjoy one. It's very delicious. And number 1 power ranking, the Negroni. I mean, it's a classic. I talked about it last week. It's one of the most famous cocktails in the world. It's one of the most lasting cocktails. Something I didn't talk about last week that's really cool. Maybe I'll even touch on it at some point later this season or beyond, but it's also a cocktail formula that is, it's just really riffed on, like the Negroni. There's a million different types of Negronis, like there's the traditional Negroni, but then there's like the mezcal Negroni and there's I can't think of the name of it. There's another cocktail. The Vieux Carré is a cocktail that's very similar to a Negroni, but with bourbon. Is that what it is? The Vieux Carré? I apologize. My mind isn't the sharpest right now, but it's just neat that Negroni it's spun off into so many different kind of side cocktails because it's such a solid base of a cocktail, and it's delicious. So definitely that's number 1 so far this season. who knows? Maybe there's better ones up ahead. All right, we got some silly questions too, which are always fun. Eric wants to know, do I think there are more wheels or doors on Earth? Wheels or doors? I guess it depends. And when you think about wheels, are you including things shaped like wheels that aren't necessarily wheels, like donuts or certain flowers and stuff? Because I think there are more naturally occurring things on the planet that function as a wheel or look like a wheel, I think, than one that function or will look like a door. So I'm gonna go with wheels. And then, and also like there's more people than houses. There's probably more cars than houses in the country and in the world wide. So yeah, I'm gonna go wheels. And then do I think there are more eyes or more legs in the world? When I first thought of that question, I was only thinking of humans, and I thought for sure eyes, just because I know that there's a lot of people who lose their legs in a lot of different ways. And it's just like, I don't know, I just feel like it's more common for something to go wrong with your leg than an eye. Like even blind people have eyes, they just don't work, But I guess if you figure in all the animal kingdom and stuff, there might be more eyes because there's more. I think there's so many like creatures like fish, everything underwater and stuff. Basically, so many of them don't have legs but have eyes. So I'll say eyes on that one. Okay, and then Peter. First, he said he saw my frustration with the orange slice last week, which I'm not sure what he's talking about. I was not frustrated with my orange slice. I was making a comment on how I like an orange slice in my cocktail versus in my Negroni versus an orange peel, and but his tip was to take the orange slice, coat it around the rim of the glass, and then throw it in the garbage because you want the orange aroma without the flavors. Which I get what you're saying, Peter. I mean, that's a lot of bartenders say when you garnish with an orange peel, what they really mean is for you to express the orange oil over the top of the drink and then not put it in there, because some bartenders think that the addition of like an actual peel in the cocktail could be, I don't know, look bad or not taste as good or something. And you just want that, like pizza, you just kind of want the aromatic expression in the cocktail. I personally think a lot of cocktails, I think that they are built and designed with the addition of a little bit like of that orange slice, giving off some of its juices and stuff that helps make an appropriate balance. I think some cocktails, if you throw away the orange slice and the cherries and stuff, it will be an unbalanced cocktail. It won't taste as good. There's sometimes if you're making a cocktail with like a really nice whiskey or scotch or something, or you don't want any really deadening. You don't want any like fruit and things to come in there and screw with the flavor. If you have a good scotch and some people like water in their scotch, and it's it's really good to use like purified water or distilled water because you don't want the water to affect the flavor of the scotch. Like that makes sense. But when you're making cocktails, it's all about balance. You're not necessarily looking for just the flavor of the spirit. But it's also personal. So if that's what you prefer, then yeah, Pete, go for it. And now his question is that he thinks I need a receiver and he wants to trade me one. No, thank you. Not right now. I don't know. It's the week 4. Is it really? I wonder when trading season really kicks off. But it seems like people have really been. They're wanting some. They're wanting some trades, and I don't know. I guess I'm not ready to give up on any players yeah. I'm just I'm happy with I'm happy to see what my team looks like for another week at least. So we'll see after this week, I suppose. Last question, Brian Brooks. I should just call him Brooks. He wants to know my favorite Liquored Up players or moments from my past teams. I don't have a good memory for this kind of stuff. And it'd be easy to say that my favorite memory or moment is winning a championship, particularly because that's the year that Nick got the championship bottle from Ireland. and it was a fine bottle indeed. But I would say player-wise, Texas Tech quarterbacks, there was a run there where I had like Texas Tech quarterbacks, and I think including my championship season, but other seasons too where I had either made it to the championship game or certainly into the playoffs, and it was all on the arm of like Davis Webb or even what's his name, the kid who throws for Oklahoma State now. I think he was on Texas Tech briefly too. I mean, it's kind of fun to get those air raid quarterbacks when they're hitting. So I'll always have a warm spot in my heart for that. I might have even had Patrick Mahomes on my team briefly one season. I can't remember. Again, my memory for this stuff's not great. Nick might be able to tell us if he has that information somewhere. Brooks also wanted to know if I had any embarrassing Nick stories from my youth, and I don't. I'm sure there are. I mean, Lord knows we all have embarrassing stories from our youth. I just don't. I can't really think of any. So yeah, I don't know. So maybe get back to me on that one. I'll think some more. Who knows? All right, folks. That will be the end of that one. Fake drink, glug glug. Cheers, gentlemen, to another week. Hopefully I'm feeling better next week and I can enjoy my cocktail a little more. And hopefully you can hear me. I'm so stuffed up that I can't tell how loud I'm being right now. It's hard enough to hear myself when I'm not stuffed up. But until next week, gentlemen, cheers. Have a great week.